specifically. Okay, thank you so much. Oh, I just love it when it comes my turn to stand here, and pretty much everything I was going to say has already either been said, read, or sung. And it just tickles me right down to the soles of my shoes. You know, it's interesting. Oh, by the way, I'm Reverend Ann Ray. And it is my true delight to see you all this morning, to welcome everyone who has joined us on Facebook and Zoom. And, you know, you're in the room, even though you may be in your comfies with your coffee. We feel you here. And it is absolutely delicious to begin this day together in whatever way we are, and to get to share with you this important information. One of the gifts that I experience, and I have experienced through my years of study, to get to the point where I was licensed as a minister, but first licensed as a practitioner. And did you know that all of us who are practitioners are always practitioners? So I am a licensed minister, I am an ordained minister, and I will always be, first and foremost, a practitioner. Yeah. Why is that so important? Why is that important for me to say today? Because the principles that we are discussing are elemental to the practitioner's work. And it is, you know, it's a gift that lays unopened, bow and all, when we don't take advantage of the practitioners who are here every Sunday, whether it's the particular one who is on duty today, which is Patty and Reverend Diana Lee, which are, but we have Carol Rose in the house, and Denise for Lizzie in the house, and Bren Travis in the house, all of whom are ready, willing, and able to say yes to your request for a faith lift.
Yes, yes.
To celebrate. You know, we don't just pray for stuff where people call us and go, oh my God, this has happened, or it seems like this is going to happen, or this might happen, or all of which happens. Not necessarily to them the way they think, but it's just interesting how people come to us. Rarely to celebrate. Rarely to talk about a demonstration, an actualization, a manifestation of something that they have maybe or maybe not formally asked for prayer support around. If it weren't for our not only belief in, but practice of these principles, which I am discussing over these 4 weeks, we could not do the work we do. And the reason that we could not do the work we do is because we would be as distracted as some people are. I know it's none of you, by whatever the effects are that they're dealing with in their life. Whatever the trouble is, whatever the challenge might be, whatever. Because we cannot be that. Exactly. We cannot be distracted by any of that. It is our job to know the truth. And I'm not talking about, now listen up here, because this is really important. You know, the sentences that Patty shared with us this morning, some of which I will be repeating in one way or another again and again, are some of the most important statements made in the science of mind teaching. And we read them, maybe. We read them and we go, well, yeah, but. Then how do you explain this? Yeah, but. How do I fix that? Yeah, but. I still have whatever the hitch is in my get along. You all know what a hitch is in your get along? Just making sure. That was one of my mother's favorite phrases. So when I speak of the truth, and I said this last week, and it deserves repeating until you hear it. And that's part of what I want to say right now too, before I get deeper into the subject, is we hear what we're ready to hear.
Yep.
We receive what we're ready to receive.
Yeah.
And when you're working on a demonstration, for instance, an actualization, a manifestation, a thing happening, because sometimes all those shun words get confusing. If we're not ready to receive it, then how in the world is it going to find entry into our experience? Whatever it is, it cannot. And that is the truth of the person who is having that experience.
Yeah.
So when I say that the practitioners have to know the truth that I am speaking of is beyond condition.
Yes.
There is no condition. There is no whatever. There is no smudge of any kind on life itself that is even possible to get in the way of what the practitioners are claiming for you. And the practitioners know it. Now, what's hilarious about this is there are times when we can't know it for ourselves.
Right.
Practitioners, I mean. And then what do? We call another one. Because I can call Patty, I can say to Denise, I can call Carol, I can call Brent, and I can say, I know you can know this with me. Now, the word with is really important because it isn't something that a practitioner can know for you. We can remember it about you, and we can know it with you. Because there is a place in you that knows it.
Yeah.
And that place is waiting to be heard. So when we are exploring how in the world this all works, how scientific prayer works, first of all, and I know that there are many of you in this room who have heard talks before about how it works and the thing itself, right? I don't know or care if you've ever heard one like this one before, because that doesn't matter as much as your readiness to hear. Our ears must be ready to hear. Our heart must be ready to receive. Our brain has to, in a way, kind of take a little nap so that our mind, which is one with divine mind, can take it in. Our brain might be arguing for limitation. Our brain might be arguing for why this can't be so. And as long as we're paying attention to those arguments, and as long as we're deferring to those arguments, that will be our experience.
Yeah.
So I invite you to just kind of gear up right now and consider the fact that you are your own authority.
Yeah.
You are your own authority. That means you're the boss of you. And you get to believe, and you get to live, and you get to express, whether you call it God or the divine or the universe or spirit or George, it doesn't matter. You get to reveal it as you please.
Yes.
Yeah, but I have a limited income right now. Now, we covered that at the beginning of the year. How is it that anybody, now just hang in with me, because I know there's going to be some prickliness around this, but how is it really, if all that we are is an expression of the divine, how is it that anyone can have a limited income? I can feel the prickliness rising in this very moment, because we think of them and them and them and them and the ones over there and them, and okay, so just consider this with me. George, the divine, spirit, God, whatever it is that we're comfy with calling our higher power. Exactly.
It's dog talking, you know.
I do know. Missy gets it. Does it have any limits?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you really sure?
Yes.
Well, then how come I'm not hearing from everybody? If you're sure that the unlimited has no limits, how come I'm not hearing from you?
You heard from me.
But you gotta think about that. Because acknowledging that the unlimited has no limits really can screw us up. It can screw up our attachment to limitation.
Yeah.
It can screw up our ideas about why things are the way they are. It can really mess with our arguments about anything. But I will tell you what, period, end of discussion, the unlimited is unlimited. It is not unlimited just some of the time for some people in some places. It is unlimited. So think about why this example is coming to my mind right now. I have no idea. Think of a big container of sugar. I have like one of those plastic containers, like a tub that has a plastic lid on it that has all of my baking stuff in it. So think of a big container of sugar. Now chances are, whatever it is that I am making, whether it's with sugar or flour or baking soda or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to use it all.
Right.
I'm not going to use everything in that container, am I?
No.
Chances are. So there's more. There's always more. And when the supply starts to get low, what do?
Go to the store.
I refill it. Even though sugar has become ridiculously expensive. Think of the ocean. If I walk up to the ocean with my little measuring cup, how much ocean am I going to have in that cup?
Everything the cup holds.
Everything the cup will hold. But do you know what? What's in that cup is all that the ocean is. Not in content. Not all of the ocean in the world is in that cup. But the only thing that's in that cup is ocean. Sand. There's stars. There's a gazillion examples. And yet we insist that this life, that is the one life, that is all life, that is our life now, we insist that it's limited.
Yep.
And guess what?
We're right.
So, even though the facts And we love facts, don't we? Particularly real ones. The facts say otherwise. The facts say otherwise. There is no way that the life that is all life, that is my life and your life now, that is every life, whether it's known or not known, there is no way that life is limited in any way, anywhere, anytime. But we insist that the facts are fake and the truth is the circumstance. Whatever our circumstance is, that's the truth. Well, we have it backwards.
Right.
And the fact that we have it backwards doesn't make us bad or wrong. What it does is it brings the limitation that we are focused on.
Right.
So if we decided to focus on being so wealthy, now don't run out of the room on me. Some people have the heebie-jeebies about the word wealth. I know, but stick with me. If we focused on being so wealthy that we could do with it whatever we wanted, we could support every cause in the world that we can think of. We could support all of the people in the world that we want to support. We could support our spiritual center lavishly. We could support, and have plenty left to do whatever else we felt like. Woo! Woo! That is some big time wealth, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not like it doesn't exist. We all are aware of people who have that kind of wealth. We make up stories about whether or not it's okay. Whether or not what they're doing with it is good. Truth is, we have no clue what the real story is. And meanwhile, we're not taking care of our own lane.
Yeah.
We're not taking, our own lane is what we believe. Spirit works for us by working through us and is us always. No exceptions. No exceptions. We can't, let me make this clear, we cannot screw up bad enough for Spirit to abandon us,
Yeah.
because it is us.
Right.
So what happens then? If we mess up, you know, we say something thoughtless to someone, or we go into a train of thought, I know this never happens, we go into a train of thought about, oh God, what am I going to do now, and what am I going to do now, and then what am I going to do, and then what am I going to do? So where is our higher power? Where is Spirit? Where is God? Where is life the whole time we're having those thoughts?
It's still in us. It's all around us.
It's in us. It's around us. We are never abandoned. We are always loved. Unconditionally loved and supported. unconditionally. Yeah, but I remember when I grew up that I was told that I wasn't enough and I wasn't good enough and I could never get it right, and I'm sorry you had that experience. Obviously, your parents didn't know. They didn't know who they were, and they sure didn't know who you were. It was a lie then, and it's a lie now. Because there is no way we cannot be enough. If there is nothing else that you and we collectively grasp during these 4 weeks, it's who we are. Because therein lies the juice. The reason that we can speak our word, and I'm not talking about standing up here and delivering a message. I'm talking about me being in conversation with Carol and saying, I'm affirming this for myself. The reason that I can speak that word knowing that I have set creativity into motion is because every word we speak has power, has authority, not somebody else's, our own.
Right.
If we would just experiment with standing in our own authority and being as clear as we can about all that we are, and look at the evidence and the circumstances and all the other stuff that's going on and say, well, okay, that's evidence and that's circumstances, and those came from where? Those came from my previous thinking.
Yeah.
When can we change our mind?
Anytime.
Is now good?
Now
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Changing our mind to be what we mean, think what we mean, say what we mean, reveal what we mean is the most important decision we can make in our life.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's nothing in our way. No matter how it seems, there is nothing in our way. If that one life is truly all that we are, and there is nothing to substantiate otherwise, which is why this is scientific prayer, which is why this prayer can work the way it does. There is nothing to substantiate otherwise. There is only more and more and more and more proof that everything is made of one thing.
Yes.
And that thing is benevolent. And its benevolence isn't towards other things. This is where we get messed up. It isn't towards other things. It's towards itself. because everything is itself. If you stop and think about it, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense. And that benevolence, when we're being crappy to ourselves, when we're ignoring ourselves, when we aren't being self-loving toward ourselves, what are we choosing over the life we could be having? When we're being judgmental or critical or whatever towards ourselves or towards another, what are we choosing over the life we could be having? This life, this one life, it cannot work for us in any other way than working through us. So we keep waiting for the circumstances to change and this new evidence to show up, this new condition to show up, this resolved circumstance to show up. We're looking with the wrong eyes.
Yeah.
Because the healed condition, the healed circumstance, already is. There's nothing that's broken. But there's all this evidence. There's this person with cancer, and there's that person with the other thing, and there's that person with the other thing. I know, and I am not saying that they thought it first.
Good.
I am not saying that whoever it is that has an illness or who recently lost someone or who has this circumstance going on in their life, that they thought it first. So then what am I saying? What I'm saying is that when things present themselves, we have two choices. It really boils down to two choices. One choice is to react. The other choice is to respond. When we respond with strength, even if we have to borrow some, even if I have to call Patty and borrow some, when we react with strength, when we react with the faith that we say we have, okay, so this is definitely happening. It's as real as can be, and what do I know to be true? I know that every resource I need is available to me when I need it. I know there's nothing to deny it and nothing in the way of it. I know that I have a choice to lean into my faith. Oh, its tenets that have been laid out for me by every civilization since the beginning of time, so far as we can discern, I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to be able to figure this thing out, or somebody will figure it out for me. I don't have to figure it out. I can wait until I receive the guidance that I know is there for me. Every single week, I say that we are guided, we are guarded, we are protected, the way is made clear. Those aren't just nice words. That's exactly what happens. We just need to pay attention to it. No matter what. Our belief sets the limit to our demonstration, Ernest Holmes writes, of a principle which of itself is without limit. So we set the limit. It is ready to fill everything. It's not a question ever of its willingness, nor of its ability. It is entirely a question of our own receptivity. So how willing are we to have the life of our dreams?
Willing, very willing.
Yes.
Our willingness is our own key to our own happiness. And all we have to do is unlock the door. And so it is.
And so